We're going to start by recognizing a few of our partners who work in loss prevention for retail businesses here in Albuquerque who have worked really closely with us in all of our efforts that we'll talk about a little bit later to prevent and to kind of crack down on that retail theft. So to kick things off, I think we're going to start with Chief.
Good morning, everybody. I just want to thank everybody for being here today and just wanted to talk a little bit about the future and what we're going to be doing to combat some of our community's biggest problems. I'm going to just kind of lay groundwork of what's going to be occurring from now till December, Christmas. We talked about this 2 weeks ago on Central. We've talked about this during our warrant operations, and the Albuquerque Police Department, since I returned in December of 2017, has recognized that it consistently has to address the current issues. And I think that's one of the things that we've been really good at working at, is addressing current issues. In December of 2017, when I returned to the Albuquerque Police Department, we were #1 in the country at auto theft. And auto theft had to be addressed over the next few years, and eventually we fell out of that ranking. And we have some exciting news that will be coming in the weeks to come, reference auto theft, where we stand, and what the projections are for next year. But we soon found ourselves that we were at a point where we had to evolve and we had to address the settlement agreement and where we were with DOJ. We built a compliance bureau with the assistance of and support from the mayor's office, and we'll be making an announcement on where we stand on that in the near future. And the outlook is looking great for us on the DOJ, and we've seen where we've slowly risen from 2020 when I took over as chief till now in our compliance. We had homicide become an issue, 54% clearance rate. We've worked hard to get that. We're 94.5 last year. This year we've seen the 22% reduction in homicides. We had traffic problems. We've talked about the amount of traffic tickets. And right now, as we sit as a community, there's 3 big things that the community keeps talking about. Crime. And we believe we have a plan that's reducing crime. We see our reductions in all crime categories. We're not perfect, but we're seeing reductions. And one of the things that helps with that is warrants. Clearing the felony warrants. We got money from the state legislature. A lot of those individuals with felony warrants are some of our shoplifters. And we're getting better at detaining people and getting detention granted by the courts, because we're presenting better cases for them to make decisions based off of moving our people to the DA's office from the case preparation unit. We're going to be focusing on warrants every other week. And the week that we're not focusing on warrants, we will continue to focus on cleaning up Central. I know I saw some people ill-advised speak out that it was only done because of balloon fiestas. We announced it the week before that that will be an ongoing operation from now till Christmas, so we could get Central cleaned up from a lot of the issues that are occurring. The last thing that we're going to be working on is shoplifting. From now till December, Commander Hartsock's teams will be working to continue our fight against shoplifting, organized retail crime, and ensure that we make a dent in these crimes that are occurring within the city. I would first like to say thank you to all our retail partners. These partnerships started years ago. I look around the room and there are people I worked with in 2009 sitting in here when I was in charge of property crimes. And I'm glad that we're getting to the point where we could really truly bring resources back and we could devote efforts to this problem of shoplifting, because it's something that's occurred for years. There's times we've been successful, and the times we've been successful, it's because of the partnerships in this room, the exchanging of information, and working with law enforcement to get the key shoplifters arrested. Sticky Fingers was an operation that was created to target brazen shoplifters who were shoplifting and had no fear of being arrested. We had to address the idea that criminals could victimize our retailers with no consequences. We saw it over and over again on social media. We saw news stories about it. This operation has proven how vital our partnership is with local retailers. Sticky Fingers concluded with 196 new arrests for crimes related to retail theft. In addition, 42 people were arrested for outstanding warrants. We go back to the 2 of the topics we spoke about. The issue with retail theft is that it doesn't stop at the arrest. We need to prosecute these individuals, and we've seen the DA's office has a new stance on these cases, and we applaud the DA's office for the changes they've made and putting a priority on prosecuting shoplifting cases. Officers were nearby retail staff, and during the whole time of this operation, there were great communications and officers were able to take a lot of individuals freshly committing crimes into custody. We look forward to partnering with new and more businesses over the course of the holiday season. We will have resources out in mass over the next few months specifically to this topic. And with that, I just want to say thank you to the retailers once again for your partnership. We couldn't do this without you. But I also want to thank all the detectives who are in the room who worked hard on making this a success. At the end of the day, we are seeing reductions in crime for one reason. The officers of the Albuquerque Police Department are motivated. They feel they can do their job, that they can go back to work. We've made strides with our settlement agreement and making sure that we have a sustainable, fair process, and our officers are going back to work, making sure that they fight crime and that individuals are taken into custody. We will continue the fight to make sure there's accountability. I want to thank the state legislature last year passing a law for retail crime that allows us to more easily prosecute repeat offenders on felony charges instead of single misdemeanors. And that's going to be key in the future for us to continue to hold individuals accountable. And I'll say it again, drug addicts should get drug treatment. Individuals with mental health concerns should get mental health treatment. Violent criminals, repeat offenders who have no fear of consequences for the law, sometimes the very best place for them is a location out on the West Mesa called the Metro Detention Center. So we will continue to put individuals in jail who need to be in jail, and hopefully the rest of the system can help get resources to those who truly need resources, and we'll turn it over to Kyle.
My name is Commander Kyle Hartsock in the Investigation Enhancement Division, but today, more importantly, is my division houses the Organized Crime Unit, which single-handedly helps investigate and tackle retail crime. Sticky Fingers, again, isn't a new idea necessarily, but we really focused our energy into it this summer, and we love the results. It starts, though, with partnerships with our retailers. It would be a near impossible crime to tackle if our retailers didn't communicate with us in real time and after the fact, using not only on-scene loss prevention officers, but also other deeper investigations that go on in the background of all these different retailers and companies. We saw an amazing partnership come together where we could, one, promise near zero tolerance in your shopping area when the operation was going. So we moved from 1 day a week to 2 days a week to eventually 4 and 5 days a week. What we're announcing is for the holiday season, you can expect 7 days a week. These officers are going to be out enforcing these retail TAC plans, and not just in Uptown, but in Cottonwood, in Montgomery, and Eubank, San Mateo, Montgomery, in the Valley area off Renaissance, anywhere that large areas bring together many shoppers, our officers are going to be there 7 days a week. When they make those arrests, our detectives sitting in the back are going to be evaluating and triaging all these suspects and looking for the next level. Where are these stolen items going? Where are they being sold next? So if you're watching this right now and this is your industry, you're going to meet our detectives firsthand if you keep this up. We're going to take a really aggressive approach to it. What we did in the summer, we're doubling down, and we're going to go even harder at it. But we also want to recognize, especially from the summer, our partners that are here today, that without you guys, we make none of these arrests. We make virtually none. A lot of these suspects just walk out of the store normal. Our officers would have no real ability to take enforcement action. So we appreciate all you guys, and I'm looking around the room. It was all of your efforts, or your team's efforts, that helped make this plan such a success, and we look forward to continue to work with you all the way up to December 29th is when this TAC plan is going to be going to at the very least. But at this point, Chief, you want to come up and we'll hand out some of the recognitions? First, we want to recognize Lowe's. Who's here from Lowe's? Come on up. We also have Kohl's. Where is he? There he is. We have the Target in Uptown. Not busy at all. We love your parking garage, nice and shaded. It's the wrong place to run if you're a bad guy. Target off Montgomery. Ross Dress for Less. Ken. Ken's been an amazing creator and supporter of ARAPA for years now as well, if you guys aren't familiar with him. So appreciate all you've done for ARAPA as well, Ken. TJX Marshals. The coolest looking guy in the room, all right. And finally, Chris Kohler with the New Mexico Organized Crime Association, who helps also bring together many of the retailers, just like ARAPA does. And while these weren't the only these weren't our only partners, these were the partners that most stood out and that could also be here today that we wanted to recognize. We have other recognitions that we'll give to other partners who couldn't be here today. So again, we really appreciate all the work, and we're right back at it starting next week. You're going to see our officers at a higher level back in your areas again.
You know, I think maybe we could break the questions into two parts. Any questions for the administration, and then if any of the media has any questions for any of the partners who are able to comment at this. Are there any partners who are able to comment? I know you guys got to go through corporate and everything. Strike that part. Only though, I'll comment for them. Questions? Yes, sir.
Chief, of course, we're talking about partnerships today, and of course, all the partners that are here, but who's not on board with this partnership, or who needs to get on board? Is there any specific retailers or any other stores in the Albuquerque metro that need to come out and speak with APD as the holiday season is approaching?
You know, this is about creating partnerships in the future, and this is about us working with everybody possible, but we also do have limitations. Commander Hartsock has identified those that worked with them during this operation, but there are other locations that I'm sure we'll continue to reach out to. I don't have off the top of my head who's not working with us. I will say I think even Walgreens now reports all of their shopliftings, which is important to us, and we've developed a process for them to quickly upload them, so I applaud them for that, but I'm not aware of anybody right now, Kyle, who we just are struggling with.
No, we've had no one just outright say, we don't want to do this. It's generally a logistics question. Do they have the personnel to do it? Are they aware of what it is? So again, we were pushing out the education of it. This is how it works, or talk to your partners in the industry and you can see how it works.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
How many officers are a part of the retail crime unit tackling this, especially now with the holidays coming up? How many more boots on the ground are we going to see at these stores?
The retail crime unit has a set number of officers, but we've also given them additional resources from other parts of the department, and we're kind of pulling our PRT teams in. Our problem response team, proactive response teams. I named them problem response teams. Somebody else changed the name later. But they're being focused either on Central and warrants, and some of them are also being tasked with organized retail crime. But I'll let Kyle give you exact numbers.
For the retail plan, you can expect anywhere from 10 to 15 officers on any given day out and about doing this operation. It's going to fluctuate based on days off and staffing, but at least 10, could be up to 15. And again, our detectives supplement that. So our detectives are also out and about on these operations as well, not just making hands-on arrests, but helping take those cases to the next step once someone is arrested.
And is that 10 to 15 officers per location, or 10 to 15 officers per day?
Well, it's citywide, 10 to 15 per day, but we tend to see that a lot of these incidents are in 3, 4, 5 areas in Albuquerque. There's some parts of town that have almost no shoplifting issues at all. The shoplifters are going to where there's lots of stores where it's easier to blend in, and we're gonna blend in right with it.
And it's important that we recognize that although we won't have officers at every single location, every single time frame, it's actually a waste of resources at a certain point. The criminal element is very good at communicating with one another. And once we start generating arrests in one area, we find that that area goes very quiet for a period of time. And that's where I think it's important when we talk about how the Albuquerque Police Department has had to learn to evolve quickly for situations. That's another one of those examples, and I think Kyle did a great job with it in the first operation. As soon as they saw somewhere started to slow down because we've been making arrests, they immediately shift and move resources to another place. And that's kind of also helps us because the criminals don't exactly know when officers are going to be in a specific location, and it does give us the ability to give that sense of there are officers all over the place because we're getting arrests from various parts of the city at different times.
Hi, Monica Loronio, KOB4. I have two questions. So you said 7 days a week officers will be out enforcing retail when the holiday season rolls in. Can you tell us where they're going to be stationed, if you have any specific cities or areas? No, not cities.
They're going to be, like you talked about, uptown areas off of San Mateo and Montgomery. We're not going to put a schedule out, obviously, because as we know, the criminals will be reading it and saying, let's avoid that area. But the key shopping areas, we're going to have officers in those locations.
And then my second question, what are the press release mentioned the holiday attack plan. What are the main focuses? So you mentioned a lot of shoplifting. Are there any other areas you're going to be focusing on for that?
We talked about it, and actually for me, the holiday season started 2 weeks ago. We started it early, but we're going to continue to focus. Central Avenue, we're going to clean it up every other week. Warrants, every other week. We're going to arrest as many people as we can on those outstanding felony warrants, and every day we're going to hit shoplifting. Those are the three big focuses for us as a department during this holiday season. Safe shopping atmosphere for our citizens in Albuquerque. Safe place to go on Central Boulevard for entertainment and shopping. And the last thing is removing criminals from the community that should already be in jail to begin with.
The Christmas music's already been playing in the office today. We're not as aggressive as Costco, but it started today.
Yes, sir.
Are there any plans on doing something like this with small shops, mom and pop shops?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we actually put out a letter in July encouraging retailers to sign up with the department of any size. So we have shops in the Nob Hill area that have signed up, very local, independent Albuquerque shops. You do not have to be a big retailer to do it. But we tend to also find the small shops don't get hit several times a day. It sometimes spreads out over 2 weeks, but the person who hit them might already be on our radar. So we want businesses of all sizes to register with us. We'll put that information out we'll follow up with that information as well. So you can be any size business, but generally a retail, something open to the public that comes in.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned you got the ball rolling over the summer with getting things going and the successes you had there. What were like the big takeaways?
I think one of the biggest things Kyle talked to me about was the fact that areas did go quiet and that they were not as many individuals there shoplifting after a certain period of time, and that's why they moved. The other thing that Kyle brought to my attention that I'm actually working on getting some research done on is a lot of our shoplifters are unhoused. A lot of them are looking for socks. A lot of them are looking for underwear. A lot of them are looking for their next change of clothes, which doesn't make it right, but it also gives us the ability to work with some of our social service providers and make sure that we're getting resources out to that area. And as a result of what they learned, they did start working with ACS and getting ACS and resources out to some of these areas where we were coming across these individuals who had this background, and this was the purpose of their shoplifting, to hopefully give them more resources and support, so hopefully that we could slow the shoplifting down. Yes, sir.
How long is this more aggressive attack plan going to be taking place? Like, how far out after New Year's or so will this be going on?
We'll do an evaluation. We talked about it, how we have to be mobile and fluid to what the current situations are. Beginning of the year, we had a lot of questions about traffic, license plates. We did a lot of operations, red light runners. And as we've done operations, we see that, the public's concerns decrease. The public knows we're addressing these issues, and this is a bold statement, and we want to make sure the public knows that we are taking these shoplifters seriously and that we intend to incarcerate as many of these individuals. And I don't have resources specifically to give these people, such as taking them to where they need to get help, but I hope the rest of the system, and I hope the community starts to hold the rest of the system in check to make sure that the resources are available for these individuals. Yes, sir.
Are you able to explain a little bit how this partnership works? From my understanding is every time they get hit, they call you guys. Is that how it works? Am I understanding correctly?
Yes.
Yeah,
Kyle.
and so the way kind of the brass tacks of it is we're giving the retail stores that are partnering with us the ability to communicate in near real time with officers who are nearby. So we're removing that middleman element of going through a dispatch system, maybe checking what all officers are doing and who can respond to a shoplifting, and giving those resources so that they're like, yep, I'm like 5 minutes away or 2 minutes away. Give me a description, how much are they taking? We can just keep the questions real specific to that and make an immediate arrest. If we can't though, all the stores have been showing the ways and many of them use it. Target's been really good about it. They can go online and report the shoplifting to us electronically. They can upload photos and video if need be, and that just can come to our detectives in other ways where we're like, this guy's hitting again. And I don't want to forget to mention the new law has been tremendous. We're at the point that virtually every shoplifting warrant we're writing is using the new law, the new statutes in it, because we're not writing arrest warrants on one-time shoplifters. We're just not. And no one's shoplifting just one time that's coming on our radar. So that new law of aggregation has been incredibly useful, and we're using it virtually on every single arrest that occurs.
Y es muy importante que las personas que están robando en Albuquerque saben que la policía va a hallarlos y llevarlos para la cárcel. Here's your soundbite.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I talked for too long.
I've learned, I'll give you your soundbite, just remind me.
You already know, right?
This is off topic, but are you all able to give an update on the wobbly tire scam? If you have any suspect leads or any new victims that have come forward?
Some tips have come in, so my unit, my burglary team is actually working that case. Some tips have come in. We've not made arrest or charges, but we're feeling positive we're gonna have this person and persons identified soon.
Yes, sir, last one.
Kind of tackling the two other things that you had mentioned that the department's gonna be focusing on is every other week is gonna be warrant specific, and then the other week is gonna be cleaning up on Central. Can we talk a little bit about like what those warrants that you guys are looking for, and then specifically with cleaning up Central, is it the downtown Central corridor? Are we looking up towards the International District? Like how is that working out?
Central from 98th Street to Tramway. And every morning, the Valley Commander needs to provide me a picture of what Central looks like in certain parts of downtown. The Valley Commander has to ensure that there are officers walking downtown every 2-hour interval throughout the course of the day. Other commanders are being tasked to make sure that they drive around the area command and they clear things up as quickly as possible. I do not want to get a complaint, and the commander knows immediately if I get a complaint that there's a large crowd of individuals who are causing issues and quality of life issues at Tramway and Central. They need to get to those areas and they need to clean them up. So this is about cleaning up Central throughout the city, and that's why I think it's important, and we have buy-in from all of the city, because that is the heart of the city of Albuquerque. That is where Route 66 originated for our city. So we will do our best to continue to clean that up. And I realize they may go to Lomas, they may go to Zuni, but I think it also is important that we send a message that we are working on doing everything we can to give resources and to help individuals, but also creating a beautiful city for anybody who's visiting here, anybody who lives here, and it is also it's a start. We got to start somewhere. And then the question about warrants, we focus on felony warrants. We have some the DA's office has approved that are ready for prosecution, and we have others that we just want to take into custody because they're an outstanding warrant, and we think it's a recent warrant that we should be looking for. That it? Good? All right, thank you guys. Everybody be safe.